Recording in progress.
So, and also I will post the screenshot of this later on. So maybe Euro USD. Where is it? Okay, it's this one. Again, simple thing, switch your time to New York, mark up the midnight. This is how actually you guys should do it every single time. No indicators, nothing, no fancy tools that does the job for you. Just take your time and analyze everything for yourself. So even, the Asian range, just mark up that for yourself. Do not use any indicators actually. Again, the reason behind not using indicators is being more accurate, because we actually use the bodies, obviously not the wicks, which I mentioned a couple of times, but it also gives you a connection, and it gives you a connection with your chart and a connection with the market. So just take your time, observe with your own eyes, and just mark up everything. It will just take a few minutes probably to mark up everything. So it's just something I recommend. Let's also mark up here 8 o'clock, which I just pointed out, so 8 o'clock and 8:30, right? Excuse me, 8:30. So usually that's the time window when the actual entry happens, right? So, even though we have a kill zone in the market, this is sort of a half an hour time window when I would say we would focus even more in a way. The reason why it's 8 o'clock to 8:30, because a lot of economical news releases are actually released at 8:30. And the market and the algorithm in the market, it's calibrating the movement from 8 o'clock. So the calibrations happen in the algorithm in the market, and at 8:30, when the actual news event happens, the execution would unfold. Now it's quite interesting because yesterday, obviously, we haven't had any news, so it was quite chopping around it, and it was quite a slow move. Usually, when we got the news events, this New York move would be a very strong move. It would be just step in to the entry and explode when we have economic news release. So just marking up this area, so 8 o'clock. Let me just also write this, so 8 o'clock. sort of had actually, okay, I believe we had sort of this area, right? This was an area, and not just this, was this sort of this candle. We called it like a supply demand area yesterday, or a order block. It's rather a order block candle, because the usually actual order blocks in the market, once they get so-called mitigated, so we could call this move in the market a mitigation, right? So let's say you would call this candle a order block, and the market comes back and you would say it mitigates this area, then you would say it's invalid if it comes back once again. So that's something that's also quite important, that actual order block candles, they can tap into the order block several times, and it's valid until the VIX respect it, and it's valid until this high is not broken. So even though we had a so-called mitigation here, we can still call this so-called valid. So this is, if anybody remembers the community call from yesterday, then this was something I pointed out, that we had this point of interest area, and that was one of the main reasons I was quite confused about the direction. So that's why, I pointed out, all right, we might see this low taken, and I even pointed out this re-entry, which actually, this re-entry, in case anybody hit the stop loss here, this re-entry, it gave almost 2%, which I pointed out. So, if you hit the stop loss here, this re-entry, you just recover it and you go on for your day. So it happens, but this is why actually I pointed out this area, because these order block candles, they can get mitigated quite a few times. So just because it was mitigated once here, it doesn't mean it cannot make another pullback and another tap into the order block. So just a small detail, but let's look at rather the cycle yesterday. So obviously, I was bending more towards the bullish direction actually. When we made the analysis for yesterday, we haven't had this move, right? So this move, this did not happen. What I mean by that, it's not only this what did not happen, we did not have this pullback area. And actually, once I made my analysis, I haven't even been looking at reanalyzing anything. So probably if this would have been just a down move without any retracement, right? So that's something that happened because like the market created the pattern itself. So what I was expecting is to get a pullback, just moving straight down, and then get a reaction here to the upside. So, but if I would have been noticing this, I might have actually changed my entire vision about it, because this is what you have to look at. You have to look at the market to make a pullback and then a retracement. And it's quite obvious now how the pattern unfolded. You can also notice that it's 8 o'clock, 8:30, right? Where the actual entry happens. So once that reveals itself that the market is, let's say, in a reversal at 8 o'clock, 8:30, it might be rather going to the downside. But if the 8 o'clock, 8:30, which what I was anticipating before, to get the 8 o'clock, 8:30 retracement here, if that would happen, it's super high probability that we would have been going up. So if the 8 o'clock, 8:30 reversal happens here, then we are most likely moving up. But here, obviously, the 8 o'clock, 8:30 reversal, the 8 o'clock, 8:30 entry, it happened into the other direction. And we had obviously this point of interest area, which I explained in the previous example of how this works. And also we had something that's super high confluence. I believe this was like, okay, maybe, you know what, let me see a different provider, because actually it wasn't this high. I remember the high was actually down here. But let's just look at a different provider, guys, in just a moment. Maybe it's different, who knows? All right, this might actually be different. Now it's much better. So a different provider, and we see much better movement. So here also two standard deviations that was completed. Also very nice reaction actually at the two standard deviation. So super nice reaction, and everything now it happened within this point of interest area. Now I know it's quite quite funny that I'm telling you all these smart things after calling a bad move and then recovering the re-entry. But you know, it happens. I sometimes I also make mistake. I'm also a student of the game forever. So it was one of the things. If I would have been noticing that actual 830 retracement, see that 830. If it's right here, you know, I would most likely make a huge amount announcement that this is actually moving down. So this is what you have to look at in the reversal. It's quite simple, but it is how it works. If anybody just notices the picture that I shared the other day, or I think it was last week, right? So it was 5 examples on gold. It was an entire week from Monday to Friday. And if anybody remembers that we had like in a single week we had 2 continuations and 2 reversals. So this is also something I wanted to point out. Also something I haven't yet told you guys, that if you're only looking at the continuation, that would usually happen 2-3 times a week. But if you also implement the reversal and not only just the continuation, um, you probably get a trade almost every day. So that's something that happened on gold, like it was back in the summer. So the example I showed you was back in the summer. It was an entire week of trading, Monday to Friday, and day after day, the exact same cycle repeated. It was only one day. It was Thursday when it did not show any reversal, or it did not show um, any continuation pattern. But if you implement now the ID of the cycle can also be a trend changing cycle, then you would have more success in it. And also one of the things, actually, if anybody is asking why I haven't yet told you guys the very first time when I was teaching the daily cycle, is I haven't yet told you guys the standard deviations, right? So in order to know the reversal, you must know the standard deviations in the market. So this was something you guys first had to learn. So we first had to learn the standard deviations, and then obviously if we know the standard deviations, that usually the high of the day is 2 standard deviations, especially if it's aligning with a point of interest, then it will start making sense that the market can also make the reversal and how it's actually looking like. So, you know, also gold, same thing. We had, look at gold. we had same thing, right? So 7 o'clock until midnight. I also repeat this every time before anyone forgets it. So it's 7 o'clock until midnight, the Asian range. I will also read the chat room in a moment. So I seen that someone sent a message. So I will read that. So you guys know this. So actually, similar thing on Euro USD. If you take a look at it. Just better recognition, once again, standard deviation. But at gold, this is what happened actually. We had, let me just also, where is the, here's one, I want to copy and paste it. So if anybody remembers yesterday, this is the IV we had, right? So we had these lows swept, this swing low, sell side liquidity swept, and exact same thing I mentioned yesterday, that two standard deviations will likely be the low of the day. And with this fib level, this could have been a possible entry. Obviously, we did not see any pullback. And see, 8 o'clock, 8:30, market explodes. So it is what it is, but you guys can see the main idea behind this teaching at the moment. So the main idea, if the Asian high is not swept and we complete two standard deviations, we sweep liquidity, or the market arrives into point of interest area, then that should be a reversal. So this is how the reversal daily cycle looks like. And it does happen every day. It does happen every single day. Here we had what? Here we had the continuation. See? So this is the range we have. So let me just also mark this up so you guys can see it almost happens every single day. We had the range, we had the one mark of the key zone, so you guys can see a clear visualization of everything. That's very important. So key zone. See, it almost happens every single day, especially. So this is what someone told me, that if, you know, it does not happen every day. That's what someone told me. But if you notice, it does happen every single day, even though this one was missed. It's very unfortunate that this one was missed. It happens, but you can see that the actual market cycle, it's an everyday thing. So here we had what? Continuation all the way here. Here we had reversal, and now we are flying. And I hope this explanation helps. Let me just look at the chat. Okay, so Johan, okay, you asked that like 20 minutes ago, so I'm really sorry, I haven't seen your message. So in this example, how to tell if it's continuation or reversal? Well, I hope I answered your question on that. Okay, I covered it. All right, sounds good. So, okay. Andre, the recording, as soon as we end this one, I will upload the other one, and I will upload that one too. Well, hopefully I can trust everyone in the group, so it won't get leaked. Or who knows, maybe maybe what we can do is just let's take a look at who are the few people who are here, and we can just make a separate group for you guys.
Hi Daniel, just a quick question.
Sure,
are you
go
still
ahead.
in the gold trade, the long you took like 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. It's flying.
Yes, it's the biggest trade I ever had in my life. It was. But I didn't want to post too much about this trade because some people were quite angry that I took such a nice trade, and I just haven't shared it. It's quite unfortunate that I haven't shared this in the Signal group. But if anybody remembers, it was huge high impact news. So if anybody just been following my Discord, I posted my buy limit at the moment of execution in the Discord. So I do know if quite a few guys took advantage of it. So quite a few guys took it, but it was so fast that I just couldn't waste time with writing the details. So this was it. But yeah, we have to focus on the future and not the past. This trade already happened. We have to focus on new trades. Okay, guys, if any